Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. I woke up this morning, I turned on X, and there it was. Adam Stern, who works for the Sports Business Journal, is reporting that FedEx might be leaving Joe Gibbs Racing altogether with driver Denny Hamlin. Now, the article is really interesting, but the Herminator going to debull it a little bit. So, FedEx has been with Joe Gibbs Racing for 19 years. FedEx started with Denny Hamlin, Joe Gibbs in 2005. So if I told you, if I came to you and I said, hey, I'm going to give you $20 million a year for 19 years, would you sign the contract? Hell yeah. It's kind of like one of those deals. Oh my God, that team's going to fail. They're going to close. Race fans, this is merely things that we say, right? It's no different than when you lose your job. So when somebody loses their job, they don't, go and live under a cardboard box, under an overpass, under a highway. No. If you lose your job or your company shuts down, you dust yourself off and you go at it. You find somebody to help you out. So let's talk about this dynamic for a minute. When I say dynamic, I mean this whole Joe Gibbs deal, right? FedEx, the guy that ran FedEx forever, was real good friends of Joe Gibbs because Joe Gibbs was, Super Bowl winning coach with, the Washington Redskins, and now they call them the Commanders. By the way, that's another subject. How come the Kansas City Chiefs can be called the Kansas City Chiefs? Respond right here. I guess the word Redskins is not a good name. I think it's a badass name. So anyway, Joe Gibbs, a lot of his arrangements, Joe Gibbs was real good friends with Interstate Batteries. Joe Gibbs was real good friends with the man that ran FedEx. So a lot of these sponsors are great relationships with Joe Gibbs Racing. People say to me all the time, Herman, where'd you get all your sponsors? I said, well, I networked. I ran my mouth. I'm good with people. We have fun. So same with Joe Gibbs. Now, if Joe Gibbs loses FedEx, of course, everybody likes to go to the worst. Oh, that's it. I can hear people right now. That's it. Joe Gibbs is failing. But no, they're not. They knew it was coming. They knew it was coming because here's why. FedEx has been cutting back for a long time. FedEx has been, if you notice, FedEx has not been on Denny Hamlin's car all the time. So what I read was FedEx had to reduce their budget something like $5 billion, some crazy number. But they've been doing good in the stock market. So I think FedEx just got business issues. And that is not Joe Gibbs' fault. So let's put it another way. Before we panic, the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm talking about this is because I can hear it now. So I'm going to beat it off at the path. When you lose a sponsor, it's not because you're not doing good. Actually, when Denny Hamlin won 3 Daytona 500s, in the article it reads, that was massive. This is one of the best sponsor relationships ever in NASCAR history. You can win every race, and they're still going to go, well, but I will say this. Joe Gibbs Racing has taken some big hits because Joe Gibbs Racing has had the biggest sponsors in NASCAR history. You say who? M&M's. M&M's, man, that was a big-ass sponsor. Lost them. But it's only because they wanted to change courses. Looks like they're going to lose FedEx. Well, they wanted to change courses. But I will say this, on every one of those sponsors, They had them a long time. So one thing that the article reads that I like, Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment invested in Joe Gibbs Racing in 2023. Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment invested in Joe Gibbs in 2023. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. All these big cup teams are huge businesses. Remember, Richard Childress Racing has a partner. Jack Roush has a partner. Joe Gibbs has a partner. There's a lot of money in this sport. So don't get too high on your horse that Joe Gibbs Racing going to fail. They're not going to fail. But respond right here. What sponsor? Who? Now, you see that Maverick tire on Denny Hamlin's car right now. So if FedEx leaves, here we go again. All these cup teams. I'll leave you with this. My dear friend Ed Laukus, who's in charge of marketing at Toyota, he said to me, now Ed retired, Ed Laukus retired. He said it really hurts the sport when the car is a different color and different sponsor every week. Very hard to get that brand loyalty out there. However, NASCAR is the place to do it because NASCAR's on national TV every single week. And as bad as some people like to talk bad about NASCAR, it is the second biggest sport in America. NFL's first and NASCAR's second. Look it up. It is the largest spectator sport in America because NFL stadiums only seat 60, 70,000 people. So all these NASCAR tracks, Daytona 500 sold out at 100,000. So I once asked, you look at NBC and it's like, hey, NBC, why did you get into NASCAR? And they said, well, that's simple. It's the largest spectator sport in America. So a little long-winded this morning, but I never repeated myself. And that's a look inside the business world in NASCAR. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this is this. Joe Gibbs has had the longest running, biggest sponsors in NASCAR. I think you got to go back to STP. STP is the racer's edge. They were with Richard Petty forever. But once again, if I told you, now I'm repeating myself, if I told you FedEx going to be with you 19 years, would you take that sponsor? You damn right you would. So expect Joe Gibbs Racing and their partners, Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, invested with Joe Gibbs in 2023. They'll be all right. As Brother Rusty said, well, we just got to go find more money.